Good morning, my beauties. Good morning, radiant women. How are you this beautiful Saturday morning? I woke up this morning and cuddled with my loved ones, and then my little puppy, Aria, has this thing where she knows when I'm starting to wake up, and she comes and puts her head right, especially if I'm sleeping on my side, right in on my neck. And she just sits there and cuddles and waits. um and it is just about the thing that will melt my heart and make me feel just the beauty of life. It's one of those moments when I am extremely grateful for everything that I have. And I'm sitting right now in my office, sipping my morning tea, which isn't as pleasant as my night tea, because my morning tea has more bitter herbs and some other stuff, which I'm going to share with you. But I'm staring at the sun and I'm watching it rise, and so grateful for the day ahead. So a lot of you commented on my post about my nightly tea ritual. You kept saying things like, this feels so soothing and this feels so grounding. And it just reminds me of how easily we forget to be kind to ourselves. There have been many, many times in my life where I have gotten really busy and really excited about a project and pushed way too hard in the past, especially. I don't do this anymore. And forgotten to spend time during the day, savoring the day and connecting. I've always had this thing where I connect with myself emotionally. I stay very deeply connected to myself. It's kind of a strong bond with myself. But in terms of not rushing and not pushing and not, spending that time. And now it's just a daily ritual. So today I want to ask you guys, you ladies, my beautiful radiant women, what are you going to do this weekend to make you happy? There's an entire life out there for us for the taking. I think part of the inheritance that we have had over the centuries was that men were allowed to do so many things. And so they really integrated that aspect that they could go out and, achieve things. And we got used to being dependent on our men to really have the things that we wanted. And so what happens is that now that instinct inside of us to really own our happiness, which is the foundation of a radiant woman, right? Like one of the top things that men have told me so often, I've heard this so often, more times than I can count, guys. I mean, this thousands of times by now, is men saying she puts her happiness on me, right? Or she's never happy. I can never win. And so that instinct to really look at a weekend and feel totally inspired by the time that you have for yourself and how you can make yourself happy and not feel an emptiness inside, not feel like a hole in your chest, not be going to places but feel like you're somewhere else, longing to be somewhere else or longing to have something else. That's a sign that you have come home to yourself, that you have really come home and lived in your heart. And for a lot of us, that's a long journey, especially with how codependent a lot of us have been, still struggle with, are walking out of. Codependence is something you're going to hear me talk a lot about, because as women, we struggle a lot with this. A lot. It's like one of the big ones, one of the big things we struggle with. So this weekend, what are you going to do to enjoy yourself, to have an amazing weekend, to fill your life up, to connect? It's full of possibility. You know, if you're single, you can go out and start making friends. You can go out to things that you love. You can go out and go to a sailing club. You can go out to you can go out shopping. You can go to restaurants and say hi to people and connect with people. You can connect with women in here. For me, Saturday mornings are my farmer's market day. I love going to the farmer's market on Saturdays. I love getting there early, so I'm going to head out very soon after hanging this up with you guys. And seeing those living vegetables that are about as fresh as they can be, freshly picked. Seeing farmers that care about our earth and nature and all this variety and all this color. When I feel them, I can feel the energy coming off of them. I can feel the life force. Seeing the beautiful colors. I'm going to go buy flowers. Some of my favorite flowers are lilies because of how they smell. I love to put lilies all over the house. And I might actually have a class eventually for our members on how to have fun with bouquets and different ways to do bouquets. But I'm going to go buy fragrant lilies and I'm going to come back, and then I love to stock my fridge. I love to organize it. I love to set things out, and then I love to cook. If you hear that cracking sound, that's my little Aria right next to me chewing on her bone. Ari. Yeah, she's chewing on her bone. Ari, no, baby. Ari, no. So what is it that you're going to do this weekend to fill yourself up? And do you notice that when you want to fill yourself up, do you feel an emptiness? Do you feel a loneliness? Do you feel like you need a man? You need to have these things in order for you to feel fulfilled, because feeling that is a sign to you that you are far away from your heart, that you're struggling with very possible codependence, and that most of the time you're seeking outside of your self-care and well-being for someone to come and rescue you and take care of you, something that a lot of us women, myself included, have struggled with. And so I want you to take the time today to just savor the morning. A lot of us have a lot going on. I've never had a fuller plate than I have now. There is never going to be a perfect time for us to turn our energy back to ourselves. The times when we are farthest away from ourselves, when we are running away from ourselves and we have no self-care and we're pushing ourselves and we're expending energy outward, giving all our energy away, pining, infatuating after a man and not being with ourselves, are usually the times when we are most in our inner addict, when we are most in our codependence, and the times when we're really running away from a lot of grief and shame. Coming back to our body, coming back to ourselves, even coming back to these daily rituals can often mean coming back to ourselves. And we may have been running away from ourselves for a very long time. And it might mean coming back to deep shame. It might mean coming back to grief over repeated heartbreak. And when you haven't healed that, you'll notice that when you start to take care of yourself, there's a very interesting thing that happens. Because in order to be able to take care of ourselves, we have to have hope that life can be good and hope that we can have the things that we want. Right? Otherwise, what we're doing is taking care of ourselves to perform, to be good enough. And that's when self-care feels like an obligation. But when we feel hopeless inside, or some part of us subconsciously feels hopeless, I'll never find love, or I never want to be heartbroken like that again, or I was married to an really abusive narcissist, and the thought of going through that again is absolutely shattering. If that's going on in our interior world, in our inner world, self-care and slowing down is going to be really hard. It's going to feel really hard. If we didn't get the proper emotional love from our parents when we were children, and we developed a lot of codependence, and we're seeking that love, that parental love from the outside in men, in everyone. Coming home to ourselves and taking care of ourselves is going to seem like a chore. Our little child is going to be like, Mom, why do I have to do my laundry? That's how it's going to feel. And that's an indicator to all of us that we are afraid of our own heart. And our heart is the safest and most beautiful place for all of us. It is the safe and soft place to land. It's the place that God created for us. So I was talking to someone I was coaching this week. I don't do any more one-on-one coachings, but I was coaching a friend, and she is doing this very thing. You know, she had a very terrible relationship with her father, and there's a man in her life that she's been seeing, and she's literally being a doormat with him and letting him do, you know, whatever. And she's not integrating her masculine and taking care of her happiness, taking care of herself, keeping her options open. She's not doing that. And we were talking about it, and that's because her inner child has found a man whom she has projected ideal father to. This is my ideal daddy. This is the daddy I never had. This is the daddy I wish I would have had. This is a reliable, solid man. He's not committing to me. He's not claiming me because I'm in my codependence, because I'm not standing in my power as a woman. But I need to basically put all my cards on the table, show him that I adore him, show him that I worship him, so he'll never leave, because I finally found my idealized daddy. And so the advice that I gave her was that she needs to pull all of her energy back onto herself. And of course her response was, but that's boring, but that's work. But I don't want to open up to options. I don't want to have to do more work to take care of myself. And that is the voice of the codependent child. See, the codependent child never got a parental relationship where her needs were primary and her needs were first, especially her emotional needs, where she had parents who were tuned into her emotional world, and she learned that her emotions were important and that she should focus on them. And so today I want to inspire you and invite you to say that you deserve support, and you deserve your mornings to be gentle before you hit the day. And you deserve to enjoy this weekend and to have peace and to know that everything's going to fall into place when we follow the right steps. There are steps to attracting love. There are steps to igniting masculine devotional love with men. And I'm going to teach them to you in the next 30 days, a lot of them. So there are steps to all of this. But being connected to ourselves, being aware of how we feel, being aware of why we do things and what we need, and going on that journey of saying, I'm going to reclaim my happiness. I'm going to come home to myself. And my weekends I'm going to relish them. I'm going to relish them and enjoy life. I'm going to go on that journey. So today, Radiant Women, I hope that you start your morning remembering to be kind to yourself, remembering to take it slow. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter if the end of the month is coming and you don't know how you're going to pay rent. We are all going through a lot of stuff, especially at this time. So it doesn't matter what is calling and pulling you to get into survival mode, to abandon yourself, to not give yourself that love. Today, I want you to invite healthy food into your body, to take a moment to enjoy your day, and buy yourself flowers. You know, there was a lady in the thread that said, a man has never given me flowers. We'll talk a lot more about that, why that is and what to do, but buy yourself some beautiful flowers and treat yourself as the most beautiful thing in your life, because that's what you are. Okay, go ahead and leave me comments in our Radiant Woman group. What did you learn today, and what are you going to be doing today? I'm sending you guys so much love from the farmer's market with little Aria and a bunch of fruits and veggies and a lot of lilies and a lot of wildflowers. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.